You already know this, but I'll remind you that I've survived 500 days in my world. Starting from scratch, I've evolved to a pretty decent level. I want to put together all of my survival experiences and show you how it all went down. I was immediately attacked by phantoms. I spent the day cleaning out my trunks. The next day I went to the mine to find coal, iron, and gold. I got a lot. I had 55 blocks of coal. Then I went home for the night. The next morning I went to a new cave. I met diamonds and dug them out with a pickaxe for Fortune 3. For days I ran around the mine hoping to find diamonds. I had a lot of luck, even though I just changed my bio. When I got home I had almost 2 stacks diamonds that I used to make a helmet and leggings. Went in search of the drowned with the trident. I didn't meet any. I returned to the village in the morning. I gave the villager a profession and started haggling with him in hopes of getting a cool book. I built the villager a makeshift house out of dirt. I went back home to get emeralds and craft the books. I would have 2 books for infinity. I gave a profession to another villager and bought from him 2 books for efficiency 5. I saw a derelict ship that I decided to explore. I could use the emeralds. In the morning I went to the new villagers. I finally get the book. I return home to get the resources I need, to buy emeralds and then to get the book demanding, for which I've crafted paper and books. And then I come back. Thanks to the books, I get an extra 4 emeralds and successfully buy a mending book. I fly up to the house. I add efficiency and mending to my pickaxe. That's a cool pickaxe I got. I did the same thing with my shovel. I also fixed my bow. Toward evening, I made a lot of beds. I'm going to go to the nether to look for netherite. In order to make as many beds as possible, I went to get wool. I continued to do all this until late in the evening. I'm greeted by a huge horde of creepers, and in all that time I've made my first friend. Don't do that in life. In the early morning hours, I added beds. I started digging my way down. I have to be careful, basically. Lava can leak from anywhere. But I'm lucky because I've got a lot of shulkers with me, one of which contains a lot of regeneration potions. Then I take the bed run away from it for a few blocks and blow them up. It's easier for me to find the ancient debris. I kept doing this until I ran out of beds and digging up the first ancient debris. I only found 5 pieces. I had enough for 2 whole netherite ingots. I used them to make a chest plate and leggings. I'm developing my village and I wanted to put an iron golem in it to guard me. I'm doing chores and breeding cows and pigs. And I have an extra shulker that I put a lot of milk in. I can use it when I go to the ocean monument. I got some bamboo and put it in chest. I go looking for drowned with a trident, but I end up finding regular drownings. All day I've been sailing on the ocean. I come across a ship and loot emeralds. I was on a boat until the evening. I finally lucked into a drowned man with a trident. I waited a little while and saw the next one. And this time I got lucky because the trident fell out. Day 112, I'm off to the igloo tent. I came here to see what items I needed to buy the ocean monument map. It was emeralds and compasses. Coming home to get the compasses, I went to the mine for emeralds, but I found diamonds. But the easier way to find emeralds is to haggle with the villagers. Now, I have a map of the underwater temple. Then I went to Nether to mine quartz to level up. I found the ocean monument beforehand so I could come back here. It's right next to the portal to the end. I decided to get some gunpowder, and then I had a mess of mobs. When I got home, I made fireworks. I killed cows to get leather. I used the leather to make books, and then I haggled with a villager to buy emeralds. In my little vegetable garden, I planted potatoes. I bushed them to sell them to the villager farmer. After bargaining, I managed to buy 22 emeralds. That was enough to buy a book to fix it. Day 118, I buy emeralds from the farmer and give him my wheat in return. It was time to get to work on the trident. I had in my chest a book for loyalty 3 and also a mending I bought from a villager. I added it all to my trident and continued bargaining with the farmer. Near the village, I decided to repair trident by killing hostile mobs. I finally have a second mending book. I added it to the elytra. I'm going home, sleeping. On day 119, I had a very global idea. Behind the house, I cut down trees and wanted to level the ground to build a mill and a big wheat field. I did that all day long, and by evening I fed the dog. I went to bed. To realize this idea, I would need too many blocks of dirt, a lot of seeds, and a few stacks of wood. I immediately set to work. It took me all day. Day 121, I was already out of blocks, so I went a little farther from home to find blocks. After I had a full inventory, I went home. I spent the night. Behind the house, I finished leveling the surface. By evening, the job was done. I put all the necessary resources for the future construction in the chest, and I'm also crafting the scaffolding. I didn't get bamboo for nothing. I'm going to bed. Good night. Day 123. Whew, I start building the mill. During the day, I built this thing, and now I'm finishing up. And then I had to take a break from work. I found some sheep and brought them to the village. I'll need wool to finish some of the mill. I'm making a path, making a farm, and plow the land, and then I sow wheat. I've already seen the result. Sheep breeding. Day 128, I continue sowing. Cows are killed because there is not enough food. I go on a journey to find as much wool as possible. Coming home at night, somehow magically falling through an invisible block. What is that supposed to mean? Successfully flew home. I go to bed. I start building the windmill. By the end of the day, the mill was almost finished. I'm off to a new day. I still have to finish the final decorations and add the windows. I continued planting seeds. The next day from the tavern, I was already looking at the finished result. I think it turned out great. I went to Nether to boost a level, to add mending to the elytra. It's very expensive, but I'll do it. And now I can repair elytra with experience. My field is already starting to change. Additionally, I put decorations inside the mill. At night, I tamed a second dog. It came up with a great idea to make a gunpowder farm. I'll need to tame 2 cats for the farm. So I go to the nearest village. I saw the second cat from afar. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough raw fish for her. To keep her from running away, we lock her in the blocks. I ran home and left the tamed cat here, fished, and went to bed. I get a really cool fishing rod with the luck of the C3. I can't get enough levels again, so I go to Nether for quartz. I'm digging long tunnels looking for quartz. It's a good thing I carry a potion of fire resistance. I'm 21 levels up and back. Here I'm home. It's time to put our fishing rods back together. Mornings don't start with coffee, they start with fishing. One of them will be named Ralphie. The whole day was spent fishing. Apparently, the creeper doesn't really want me to sleep. He just blew up my house. But one thing I don't get, what the hell were there Endermen last time and now there's creepers? Sleeping without a roof this time, and now I'm finishing the roof. And I'm rebuilding the decorations on the first floor. Day 140, I went to the village to tame the second cat. I had to chase her, but I tamed her too. Welcome to my room. I got the resources I needed. I went to build. I cut down trees. I leveled the surface and built the foundation for the future farm. The farm itself works like this. There's cats on both sides that scare away the creepers, where they are blown away by the water into the lava and the drop falls into a hopper. This farm has one small disadvantage. I have to stand at a height to spawn mobs. I've been standing in AFK for a few game days to farm gunpowder. I'm not gonna count those days. You can count this night as me going down to check the drops. Despite the fact that I've been in AFK for a few game days, and despite the fact that I hooked up the chest to the hoppers incorrectly, a whole stack of gunpowder is pretty good. Early morning, from the farm I made an extra passageway to the tavern, crafting fireworks to fly elytra, and destroying a huge pillar of leaves. Look at this, what a beautiful view. This is how the farm works in practice. I'm flying to the village. I want to make a cool trident, so I'm gonna need a book on Riptide 3 or Impaling 4. After a while, Impaling 4 came out. But the best part is that for this book, I need to find emeralds. I have a huge wheat field, so I decided to use it. We harvest the crops and give them to the farmer in exchange for emeralds. That's how I got the book on Impaling 4. I went in search of a new village. I spent the night. In the morning, I haggled with the farmer and gave him all the wheat. I found a villager weaponsmith. I take his diamonds. Sorry. I needed the emeralds to buy the book on Riptide 3. I'm only 6 emeralds short, I'll find them. I've got emeralds for farmers. Well, now I have the book of the Riptide in my inventory. We fly home at night. At home, I add the book for Impaling 4 to my trident. Riptide 3 will go with the other trident I find. I'm back in AFK at the gunpowder farm. I managed to get about 1 stack and 19 pieces during my time at the powder farm. I've been doing chores all day, and by evening, I've already made a sheep pen. The most important thing is not to forget the details. Sleeping. Making fireworks. After that, I decided to build a sugarcane farm. To do this, I need to level the surface and swap the stone for blocks of dirt. The island for the farm looked like this. It was time to transplant the sugarcane. The day was spent building the farm. It was time to spend the night. I just kept on building. I'm getting wood, sand, and sent it off to melt. Sugarcane harvesting. And the whole 4 stacks was very good. For a few days, the construction went on. And on day 152, I finished. Then on the roof I decided to make a truss. It's time to make a passage to it. I added a spruce stairs, add the trees, and it looks much better. I fixed my items and I'm getting wool. From the wool, crafting beds and throwing everything in the shelter. I went to Nether and like last time, I'm mining ancient debris. I also had a very unpleasant situation. I accidentally clicked on the bed and it exploded. I was extremely lucky because I had a totem with me. I found only 8 ancient debris in 2 days of play. At home, started melting it all down. Crafting. We make a sugar netherite pickaxe and a super shovel. I stayed at the AFK gunpowder farm and about 2 stacks I took for myself. Sleeping again. Crafting fireworks. I'm going on a trip. My goal is to protect the village from the raid. I need to find the pillagers first, which is what I'm going to do. I found the warm ocean I've been looking for. It's got coral and I'm gonna need it later. It's morning and I'm still trying to find the pillagers. In the morning I find them. By the middle of the day I found a village to defend against the raid. I decide not to fortify it and go hardcore. I decided to spend the night in this village. I kill the main pillager and get the bed omen effect. I go back to the village and wait for the first raid. It seemed like it would be easy, but when evokers and vexes started showing up, I realized I'd be in trouble, and I had to lose the totem. I was nervous, but somehow I managed to kill them. The ravagers were shot with a bow. I got really dumb. I lost the second totem. The raid is over. I successfully defend the village. I get the hero of the village. If it wasn't for the totems, I would have died. When I got home, I fell into a canyon. I could have died. I didn't even need a totem. I successfully made it home. Look at what my bows turned into after the attack on the village. Remember I took the coral? That's exactly what I needed it for. I wanted to make a carpet. I had some old netherite armor in the chest. I thought it would be a good time to restore it. I would have a refurbished chest plate and leggings. I spent the next 2 days in Nether. I've been raising the level again by digging up quartz. The morning of the new day, I buy the mending book again. At home, I fix bow and I want to add a mending to each piece of armor. I have a little problem. I'm always short on experience and emeralds, so I'm gonna make a cool experience farm. I'm putting together all the stuff I need for the farm. I need to find 10 stacks of leaves, which I've been doing. The experience farm will be in the edge, so let's go there. I'm not going to tell you in detail how I built it, I'll just tell you how it works. There is an enderman spawning in that flat surface. They attack this endermite that has a tag on it, and all the endermen fly under that endermite, so it's very easy for me to kill them to gain eyeballs and experience. I have nowhere to put them. I bought another mending book. It's about time. I had a top set of netherite armor. That's why I'm growing potatoes. I haggle with the villagers for emeralds. Okay, I've got some super netherite armor. New day, I went to the farm to fix all the things. I don't know what to do with these eyes. There's too many of them. I'm putting sweeping edge 3 on my netherite sword, so it'll be easier to kill the endermen on the farm. It's a new day and the cane farm is bearing too much. For 3 days I kept getting experience. I kept gaining experience until my computer started lagging. I spent all the experience I gained in books. I didn't just get anything interesting. Next, I stood in AFK at the gunpowder farm. I was preparing for a very important moment. I've been collecting various items, taking totems of undying, a bunch of buckets of milk, and some potions. And I'm off to the ocean monument. I've come back again for the experience, because I want to enchant my trident in a different way. Not much different from my previous trident, but anyway, impaling 5. In an underwater temple, it would be perfect. I'm on my way to the temple and I met a drowned with a trident. I decided to go home and do something with it. I wanted to add a char to Reptide 3. That's why I needed this trident with these charms. Ready for battle. The main goal at the moment is to find the 3 Elder Guardian. I swam through and found the first one and quickly took him down. On the other side of the monument, I killed the second one. I found the third who was in the middle. I had a lot of trouble. I couldn't find a way through. That's why I decided to dig through. It was extremely dangerous, but I managed to break some blocks and killed an Elder Guardian. As a reward, I dug up some gold blocks and also sponges. When I got home, I built a stupid elevator to take me up. With the trident on pull 3, it'll take me up a lot higher. I honestly don't know why I built it. Next, I was chopping down trees because I wanted to build something. It was a little dock with access to the sea. I've been wanting to realize it for a long time and I finally made it. Subscribe to the channel and put like. See you soon in the next part, guys. Bye bye.